All right, Ivy Leaguers, we are here in Atlanta for the SEC Championship. Saturday morning before game day. Thought I'd film you a little podcast here. I don't have all my equipment. I know I'm traveling. So if the sound sucks or the video sucks, don't blame me. And I've also got ESPN on in the background. All right, but let's get started. We got a lot of big games today, so we got a lot we need to get to. And also, we got to have a playoff conversation here, since I probably won't be able to film a long video before the impending playoff decision tomorrow. So, here we go. First off, let's talk about the SEC Championship, the one I am in town for. I'll be posting content throughout the day about it. But Bama versus Georgia, again, finally, what's going to happen? Personally, look, Georgia's a better team in this matchup, but they did lose to Alabama once already this season. So we know it's possible for Alabama to win this game. But I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying Ty Simpson knows he can. If Ty Simpson plays his best game, Ty Simpson will lead this team to a win. I think, all things considered, if Alabama plays their best game and Georgia plays their best game, I think it's a pick 'em. I think it's really a toss-up. I think it comes down to which team commits more turnovers. If Alabama can force some turnovers, or if Georgia can force some turnovers, then that team will win the game. Because that's how these games always go, okay? Look, Georgia didn't play great against Alabama the first time, but Alabama's defense has gotten better. You can argue that their offense might not be better, but Alabama's defense has gotten much better since they played Georgia earlier this season. Now, Georgia's also gotten better too, don't get me wrong. Their defense has gotten better as well. But Georgia also only beat Georgia Tech last week by, 7 points? Not a wide margin. I'm not saying Alabama killed Auburn either, but let's be honest, it was not a wide margin of victory for Georgia last week. So it's a interesting situation that we're looking at here. And quite frankly, Alabama probably has more on the line because let's say they get blown out by Georgia, they might not be in the playoffs anymore. That's a conversation for later in this video, but I personally think Alabama's going to get, both teams are going to give it their best shot. This is the SEC Championship we're talking about here. Both teams are going to give it their best shot. But which team is going to force turnovers? Which team is going to make the other team come to them? Like, look, you've got to want it in a game like this, okay? And don't get me wrong, both teams want it. But which team wants it more? And that's going to be the question in this game. And then we go to the Big Ten, and we look at a 1 versus 2 matchup, Ohio State versus Indiana. This is huge. We really get to see which team is the real deal. Now, don't get me wrong. It should be a close game. It should, all things considered. But then again, it might not be because we haven't really seen these teams have major tests. And by major tests, Ohio State probably has had more major tests than Indiana. So we'll really see if Indiana is a title contender tonight or today. So I will be super interested to see that one. I personally think Ohio State will win. I think it will be close, but I think Ohio State will pull away and win that one. But we will see, of course. It will be an interesting one, and I will be excited to watch it. But now let's move on to the Big 12, where we have BYU versus Texas Tech. And this one has some major playoff implications. And quite frankly, as my Bama fan side of me, I am rooting for Texas Tech in this one because let's say BYU wins this game. That means Alabama really has to win this SEC championship game. So I think if you're also a Vanderbilt or Texas fan, you probably want BYU to lose as well, just for playoff implications. But I think Texas Tech's a better team, let's be honest. Texas Tech plays great. BYU, I don't know if BYU is legit. Look, they're 11-1. And they're good. Don't get me wrong, they are good. But are they as good as Texas Tech? I don't think so. I think Texas Tech is the real deal this year. I think Texas Tech's a legit title contender. Of course, that could all change. My perception on that could change after today. But I really think Texas Tech is going to handle BYU, and I think they're going to have a first-round bye in the playoffs and a legit chance to win a national championship. Because, let's be honest, I think they've slowly built themselves a team. I mean, you look at last year, they had a pretty good one. Fine. They had a fine team last year. This year, their defense has been outstanding and their offense has started to play better. Okay? Their offense is high powered. We saw quarterback injury early in the season, but everything has worked itself out for Texas Tech. Now, of course, they had the loss to who did they lose to? Arizona State, and that was just a fluke. If they don't lose that game, you're looking at an undefeated season. They're probably ranked number 3 in the country right now, possibly. Of course, that's a big if, but it would be really interesting to me to see Texas Tech go up against a team like Georgia. That would be a really interesting matchup for me to watch. And we might get to see it in the playoffs, of course. But I really would like I want to see them beat BYU, but I would really like to see them in the playoffs play Georgia or even Indiana. It'd be interesting to see that matchup. Two teams that we don't know what they're going to do in the playoffs, but so that would be interesting. But I think Texas Tech wins against BYU today. Big one in the ACC. Does the ACC get a playoff bid? If Virginia wins, yes. If Duke wins, no. It's as simple as that. And look, Virginia beat Duke very badly earlier in the year. But let's be honest, we don't care about that. It's the ACC championship time. Duke could win. Duke could very much win. And Virginia could be out of the playoffs. But if Virginia wins, they're in the playoffs. As simple as that. Let's have a playoff conversation now. A legit playoff conversation. And look, I think no matter what happens in the SEC championship game tonight, Alabama should be in the playoffs. Plain and simple. If you want to tell me that Alabama's not a top 10 team, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. All right? Because all the teams that are trying to get in behind them, strength of schedule doesn't compare to Alabama's. Quality wins don't compare to Alabama's. I don't know what to tell you. All right, look, a lot of people are very mad because they feel like Alabama is going to get into the playoffs regardless, and that is unfair. I completely disagree that is unfair. And if you think it's unfair, too bad, so sad. That's college football, okay? The best 10 teams should get in there, and if you can't tell me that Alabama's not one of the best 10 teams, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, realistically, I just don't. I really don't know what to tell you. So, I think Alabama gets in regardless of win or loss against Georgia today. I think the winner of Ohio State, Indiana is the number 1 seed. I think winner of the SEC championship probably gets a first round bye. Now, of course, if Bama wins, that changes things. They might not get the first round bye, but I really do think they would. Look, I think if BYU wins, Texas Tech still is in the playoffs. I don't think Texas Tech should be worried about dropping out. BYU, on the other hand, pretty much needs to win. It could be squirrely if they lose for a lot of other teams. The team that really annoys me sitting there is Notre Dame. And look, I get it. Notre Dame is a top 10 team, top 12 team. But they just don't play anyone. And it really is frustrating to me when you don't play anyone and you get in the playoffs like that. And, I mean, look, I get it. They're a good team. They'll probably lose first or second round of the playoffs. I don't. It's not that I have an issue with them. It's just that the not being in a conference really makes me upset. I think it's high time they join a conference, and I know they don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. You got to join one eventually. They're in the ACC for every other sport except football. Come on, guys. Join the conference. I also think they get more credit for losing to Miami than Miami does for beating Notre Dame. And that drives me insane. I mean, come on, guys. If you're going to consider Notre Dame one of these top teams, then Miami should be right up there with them. Like I said, I'm not saying Miami should be in the playoffs, but I'm just saying Miami and Notre Dame should be very, very close in rankings. And honestly, Miami should probably be above them. I'm not saying they should be, but maybe. I mean, let's be honest. And I'm not a Miami fan. I don't think Miami should be in the playoffs at all. I think they had their chance and they blew it. Every team had their chance, and if you blow it, you blow it. That's what happens. Okay? And you've got to realize that the committee is going to do their... Look, this year is... I would hate to be on the committee this year, because this year I feel like there are probably 16, maybe 17 teams that could be in the playoffs, and not all those teams are going to get in. Obviously, it's a 12-team playoff. It's going to be really interesting to see how they nail this out. I think, like I said, Bama's in regardless. Now, if they get blown out by Georgia, maybe not. But I think no matter the outcome, if the SEC championship is a 2-score game either way, Alabama is in, okay? That doesn't change. To me, that doesn't change anything. Again, what do I know? I'm just a sports analyst. I've been doing it for forever, but we'll see. Of course, I will be posting content throughout the day from the SEC championship. You will see me again today, Ivy Leaguers. Have a great day. Real quickly, run through my picks. I think Georgia, Bama in the SEC championship. Pick them. I'm going to go Alabama. I can't pick against them. Big 12 championship, I got Texas Tech. Big 10 championship, I'm going to go Ohio State over Indiana. ACC championship, I'm going to go Virginia. Those are my picks for today. Until next time, Ivy Leaguers, I'll see ya.